Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Monza racing circuit, a very historic track located in Italy. In fact, it is the third oldest purpose-built racing track in the world, only behind Brooklands in England and Indianapolis in the United States. And today we are racing our 1967 Formula One cars, our Lotus 49 cars, on the Monza combined circuit. This includes the banked circuit and a modification of the Grand Prix circuit, 6.2 miles long, and this thing today is an absolute draft fest. The cars will be going around the banking and down super long straightaways with speeds over 220 miles an hour when we're drafting into the entry to the south banking. An international race today. I'll roll through the field here real quickly. On the pole position is Jack Ulstead from California in the United States in the number 4. He's running a Lotus livery, the official Lotus graphics package. This is myself, William Billy Bob Wright, and I'm running the livery of the Anglo-American racers of Dan Gurney and the Westlake Eagle. This is Mick Claridge, one of the perennial front-runners, multi-time champion in this series from England, running a BRM livery, I believe. He starts third. Gary Anderson from the United States starting in the 4th spot. I don't know much about Gary. This is Michel Dudognan from France, the champion in the series currently, and starting 5th. This is Uwe Tringerade, another perennial front-runner. I believe Uwe is from the Netherlands. Forgive me, Uwe, if that's not correct. Michael Thomas, also very quick from France, running a Ferrari livery. Let me back up here. Uwe is running the Honda livery. Michel, I believe, is running... I don't remember what Michel's livery is. Okay, Uwe in the Honda, Michael in the Ferrari. That's the pace car. Forgive me, that's just the way this thing scrolls through. Andrew Ng, also in the Anglo-American Racers livery. Andrew's from Minnesota here in the United States. Sandeep, I believe in a custom livery, and I don't know much about Sandeep. Don Good. Don, tell me something good. Also from the United States on the West Coast, and also a custom livery. I don't know Doug Waite. I don't know Ms. Ledger, and I don't know Bertrand Villers. So that is our field. Because I'm making the, because I'm making the replay here, we'll start the race on me. Again, this is a digital race. All of these drivers are literally where they, Mick's in England, Michel's in France, I'm in Florida, Andrew's in Minnesota. Well, actually, Andrew's a truck driver. He might be somewhere other than Minnesota. Anyway, sorry to bore you with the details. 20 laps is the distance. If you watch my cursor here, you'll see as I scroll through cars, the name of the driver will come here. This shows you if they're turning the steering wheel. This shows you if they're applying the gas in green, the brakes in red, and the clutch in blue. It shows you the car number. This will show you the position of the car in the race. This will show you the current speed of the car. This will show you the lap that we're on. Or excuse me, this will show you the lap time of the previous lap, and this will show you the lap that we're currently on. For instance, this is a 20-lap race. If you see lap 19, that means we're working lap 19, which means when we come back to the finish line, we'll start lap 20. And so when we see 19, that means there'll be 1 to go when we come back to the line. So I hope you enjoy the race. I'm going to start it from camera TV2. And then I'll scroll through cameras and angles and show you a little bit about the race as it goes through. So I hope you enjoy 20 laps of the Grand Prix Legends Racing Series from iRacing, in the Lotus 49. Here we go. I got a great start, but that doesn't matter because all these guys behind me will just draft back up to me. There's the crossover. That's part of the track underneath the banking.
Even money, I'm fifth at the turn.
You heard me say even money, I'm fifth at the turn, and what I meant was even though I had that jump, I expected to be fifth going into that first corner because of the draft. And later in the race that would be true. Right now everybody's just kind of cruising, getting settled in. Across the jump for the first time, you see how much the cars come off the ground there. Intense action down here into Curve Grande. We just came off of the south banking and we're headed into Curve Grande. Very fast part of the track here. Forgive me, I was scrolling through the cars. Oh, see, Gary Anderson made a mistake back there. Ooh, Mick almost spun the car. That's going to let Michelle in there after Michelle goes by Mick. That's a nice shot into the chicane there. So we'll go back to the front and I'll talk us through a lap here. We're coming down toward the final corner. Very important to exit that chicane well because this is one of the major passing zones, and because it's the last passing zone before the finish line, you want to get this right. This corner is called Parabolica. It's a very long, flat right-hander, provides a lot of side-by-side racing, as you can see. Jack and I coming out of there side-by-side. And the finish line is right there. So starting lap 2 now. This is the north banking. Really rough through here. You can see the sparks flying off of my car as it hits the banking. Coming on to off of the north curve. Curve Nord, as they call it. I'm moving over to the right just to try to keep the draft to a minimum. On to Curve Sud, the south curve. You can see the sparks again as my car bottoms out. Across the jump. Nick gets a draft on me. This is Curve Grande again. So Curve Grande, heading up toward the first chicane. Big passing opportunity here. It's really risky though, as these cars dance around on the brakes a lot. No downforce on these cars and very hard tires, so the braking is really tricky on the car. This is the first Lesmo. Right-hander, another right-hander here, another second Lesmo. Important to get a good drive here as there's a long, fast run down to the second chicane, and again, a good opportunity to pass on the braking into the chicane. Jack Ulstead from California. Me. So we're on camera TV 1. We'll go to camera TV 2 for this next lap and then come across the line. Mick's got a little bit of a run on us, but nobody's too concerned about it because we know even if Mick got 2 seconds away from us, if he's alone and we have 2 or more cars together, we'll reel him in within a lap. That's how big the draft is here. It's worth about 7 to 8 miles an hour if you're in a draft. And as you can see, we've already caught back up to Mick, even just that one straightaway. across the jump. Side by side into Curva Grande. Woo, that's pretty risky there. Mick was super fast on the outside through there the whole race. Michel making a big move on me into the chicane, and I let him go. So Mick Claridge from England leading over Michel Dudognan from France in second. Billy Bob Wright from Florida in the United States third, and Jack Gulstead from California here in the United States in fourth. Michael Thomas, I believe, in the fifth spot. Yep, he's from France. And then Uwe Tringerade from the Netherlands in sixth. The rest of the field's pretty spread out right now. This is through the second chicane. Again, very important to get a good run out of here, as it's a fairly long, fast straight down into Parabolica and headed to the finish line. So we'll go to TV camera 3 view for the next lap. We come through Parabolica here. Ooh, and Michel almost crashes. Big slide out of the Frenchman. That's going to let us catch right up to him. And we'll go to camera 3 now for this next ride in. This is into the north curve again, Curve Nord. See how steep the banking is there. There's that crossover. Watch, see, I get a big draft off Michel. I'm thinking about going up the inside, but I have to shut it down because I don't want to crash those guys out. If I had stayed in that just then, probably I'd have taken everybody out. Michel gets up a lot alongside Mick, back down into Curva Grande. Again, Mick has been super late on the brakes into Curva Grande. Seeing Mick jump in and out there, that's because he's got a weak internet connection. Wow, big slide from Mick. That lets Michel up the inside, and he will take the spot. Just that tiniest little error from Mick, and that let Michel by. There's Mick stuttering again. For those of you that are not familiar with digital racing, each of these guys is at their home computer and they're connected to a server in their country, and then they're connected to another server. For this particular race, the race server is located in the United States. So you'll see a lot of the Europeans, and if we had any Australians racing with us, anybody a long way from the race server itself will very regularly have connection issues, and their car will stutter, and they don't always see that. The other drivers in the race do. You can see Mick's really having some major issues there. Earlier this morning, the morning of this race I should say, Mick actually was leading a race and actually was dropped from the server. His connection got so bad that he actually disappeared. We'll scroll through some different camera views here. That's a scenic view of the pit straight. Another scenic view of the pit straight. This is a chopper view, as if there were a helicopter chasing these guys around. We'll stay on this for a minute, come back to me and watch it. Jack pulled out a little early there, and that's what cost him that. He got out of the draft. He didn't have anybody in front of him, and that let Michael, who stayed behind me in the draft, actually go by Jack. So I talked about how strategic this race is, and especially on the last lap, you've got to be in the exact right spot and follow the exact right person if you want to get by.
I got to know about everybody else. blinking and pumping like crazy on me.
I'll show those of you that aren't familiar with what Jack is talking about there. He was referring to what I was saying about the fact that Mick is jumping really bad. I'll show you a view from my cockpit, and you can see what we're talking about from Mick. All right, so watch the car, this car in the front here, this car up here. Watch Mick as we roll through this.
And Nick, I don't know about for everybody else, but you're blinking and jumping like crazy on me.
Sometimes, as you saw, the car would actually appear right in front of mine, and unfortunately, just so you understand how this works, sometimes if the server recognizes that his car is touching mine, it'll crash us both out. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. But consider this. Mick's in England, I'm in Florida, Michelle's in France. Our signals are all passing through a digital network, and from Europe, I'm assuming it's shot to a satellite, then back down to Earth. Then it's sent to the server here in the United States where this race is actually resident. And this is all happening in real time. We're racing each other in real time, this close together, and yet those digital signals are crossing across the Atlantic Ocean through a satellite link and coming back down. And it's just amazing to me that this can actually even occur at all. It's just absolutely amazing. So anyway, enough about that. Back to the racing. And I'll go back to the, I think we were in the chopper view. So I'll go back to chopper. See Mick popping in and out there.
And Nick, I don't know about for everybody else, but you're blinking and pumping like crazy on me.
I'm staying back from Michelle, and it's because I'm really concerned about Mick causing an issue up there, and I don't want to run into it. So I was staying back, and I think Michael was smart enough to recognize I wanted to stay away from whatever was happening with Mick. But after a little while, we decide, okay, maybe he's going to be okay, and we'll pull back up to him. Michael just letting me know he's getting a little impatient, so I get back on the gas here. Get back up to those guys. Back up to the front with Michelle and Mick, and then back to me. We'll go to the next view, which I believe is going to be blimp. Yeah, this is the blimp view. So we'll watch from here. There's Mick leading over Michelle. I'm in third, then Michael fourth, Jack fifth. And Uwe in sixth. It's Michelle right there, and there's Mick leading. I'll move back to me. Not a great view from the blimp here, but it gives you a sense of how big the track is. So there's a big oval that we're going around. We're now entering the south curve, the Curve Sud. This is the south end of the track. There's the Parabolica right there in front of us in the foreground, and then there's Curve Sud we're coming off of. So there's Parabolica on the left and the finishing straight on the left side of that green barrier. And then we're headed out of the south corner and headed down to Curve Grande now. The Doppler effect changing the sound of the engines there as they approach the blimp. If you don't know about the Doppler effect, look it up. D-O-P-P-L-E-R. Through the first chicane. Very tricky exit there. Then we head into the first right-hand Lesmo. We again, this won't be a great view from the blimp, but we'll stay with it. There's a short straightaway, which you can spin the car easily on the exit of both of these corners. Another right-hander leading onto a very important, really quick section that comes under the overpass. This is where we cross or pass under the oval, and then up into the second chicane. So we're working lap 6 of 20. This is working lap 6, heading up. We'll start lap 7 when we pass the finish line this lap. Now Michelle and Mick are starting to get away from us some here, so I'm sure the guys behind me are getting a little nervous. But still very early in the race. We'll go to the next camera view, which this is called rear chase. Go back to these other guys, watch from Jack's car for this. This should be fun on the draft. Uwe's just cruising. You see a car over there heading into the north curve on the right. I'll show that again. One of the things about iRacing that I also find pretty amazing is this track is actually dynamic. As the race goes on, depending on where the sun is, the track changes temperature. And as the cars go through, they put down rubber on the track, and so the grip level on the track changes. But the other thing is if you go off course here, see all that dust in front of us where Michelle dropped a wheel? Now look, you can see particles of dirt and rocks being thrown onto the track there. I'll go back and run that in real time so you can hear it too. So, you know, if you drop wheels, just like in the real world, it puts debris up on the track, you lose some grip. So I'll shut up and let you hear the gravel. You see some of it flying through the air there. That was all off of Michelle's car way up ahead of us. You see how much the car moves around here as well. It really dances all over the place. With 410 horsepower on only weighing 1,100 pounds, you can spin the tires on this car at over 120 miles an hour in a straight line. So you got to be really careful with the throttle in this car. Jack got a little bit of oversteer there. If he had tried to go full throttle on the exit of that turn, it would have immediately spun the car completely around. It's just so much horsepower and no downforce on these cars. So, woo, Jack gets right up on me. Risky, risky. All right, we'll go to another camera view for this lap. This is forward chase, so we won't do that one. We'll do rear view. Jack's coming up underneath me on the banking. Move back up to me. Let's see what the leaders are doing. Yeah, Michelle, we'll watch this as Mick should draft by him. You can really see how much the cars get beat up on the banking. Again, just a little bit more about how this works. iRacing physically sends a group of employees to each racetrack. They physically go to the real racetrack. And they take a device that laser scans the racetrack and the surroundings, and then they replicate that in a digital format. So down to about a half a millimeter, every bump and crack and blade of grass and tree and everything is replicated in digital. And so when you see the car bumping around on these bumps and the transitions on the track, and every little seam down to a half a millimeter is just as it was when they were at the racetrack laser scanning it. So professional race, ooh, watch Michelle on this. He goes and misses the whole chicane. Has to slow down and let everybody by. So again, professional racing drivers will tell you when they drive this simulator, yep, that's right where that bump is, and that's where that tree is, and that's where that line is. And so many professional drivers use this service or services like it to prepare for a track they've never been to before. They get to go turn virtual laps, and so when they get to the real track, other than the G-forces, they're very familiar with how things work. So we'll draw it back to me again, and again we're coming out of the last chicane, headed down toward Parabolica, and I'll start scrolling through some camera angles here just to show you what some other angles you can see are. So this is out of the nose of my car. We'll watch Mick through the banking here. Give you an example. You can change a lot of settings on these cars. You can change ride heights, you can change the spring rates, the dampers, you can change compression and rebound damping, differential settings, wheel tire pressures, lots and lots of things to change. The banking is so difficult here at Monza. You can see how the cars just get beat on the bank. For instance, I normally run 250-pound springs on the front of my car at a normal road circuit. Here at Monza, I run 375-pound springs. Just because the banking pushes you down so hard. You see Mike's car hitting the bottom there. Across the jump. Just moving back and forth in this group. This is from Michael Thomas's car in third. You can see the cars jump across those curves. There's a bunch of rocks coming off. Mike gets a run on me, but doesn't get it in there. We'll stay on this through the end of this lap. Mick went off track there and threw up a bunch of gravel. So that's Mike is from France, so he's having a few connection issues as well. You just saw a big stutter there. Again, he might not see that. The guys here from the U.S. would see it more than anybody. Again, that's because of the data transfer between Mike in France and us here in the U.S. Good run by Mike there. He's going to take a look down the inside. And he gets it in there, and I try to stay with him side by side. I think this is from Jack's car here. Back up to the front. We'll scroll to the next camera view, which is out the back. It's out of my car. Moving up to Mike, or excuse me, up to Mike. Goes out of Mick, now I'll come back to Mike. I'm gonna go down the inside on Mike. Does that work? No, it doesn't work. Good view down the banking here. Boom, boom. Really hammering suspension. See how big the draft is there. That's back from Jack and Uwe. Uwe back to Michelle. Man, Jack is riding right on the bottom there. So is Michael. What I mean is his car, boom, there you go across the jump. Here comes Mike. come, but nope. See, I was able to draft up on Mick. Oop. Mick was able to hang on to that. I'm gonna scroll back and see that whole section again. So we'll watch for Mick's car here. Boom, across that jump. Gotta be perfect there, the car crashes every time. So I get a big draft on Mick. Here we go, here comes Jack right up here. It's gonna be 2x2 going into Curve Grande. Here comes Michelle down the inside on Uwe. Mick's super late on the brakes, you can hear the tires squealing. Down into the first chicane. Everybody's playing nice behind us. Really banging off the curves there. Mick is being super aggressive into these corners. I'm sure he's already thinking about the last lap when people are going to try to make moves on him. But he had the defense set up. He was really fast into corners where he needed to be able to defend. That's something I can work on for next time, is getting the car better into those areas. Here we go into the second chicane. See some gravel flying around there as he gets off track. Hard braking down into Parabolica. You can see me understeering there and oversteer on the exit. It's not as quick to understeer in, but it's more stable and more consistent. All right, we'll go to some more camera views. I'll move back to my car. This is over the driver's head. It's as if a camera were placed over the car. Let's see, we're working lap 11 of 20. Scroll back to Mick. Just watch how this plays out. Michael was down the inside on him. Woo, that's scary. Here comes Jack. There's Michelle. Whoa. Really tight. Somehow Uwe had a mistake. Boom, across the jump. We'll watch this from here. Michelle's getting a run on Jack. I'm getting a run on, Mick's getting a run on me. Michael's getting a run on me. I'm in the red helmet. Ooh, yeah, there's where I popped the right front tire. Locked up the right front. Coming in there across. There's a little transition there from the old track to the new track, and that made the front tire lock up. Look at Michelle. Oh, that was so close. Going back to Jack here. Whoa, that was tight. We'll watch from here for a minute. Uwe trying to catch up, but we'll go back to Jack. Up to Michelle. I'm going to watch this from Jack's perspective, because this should be a good lap to really see the draft in play. Because we've got a little separation between myself and the second place car. That will allow us to draft up to them on these banks, and because Jack's a little bit back from us, we should see him draft up. But I think Jack's just cruising. Oh, I'll make a big mistake. Well, I don't know if I made a mistake there, if I let him in. Lap 11 of 20, yeah. Probably a little of both. Yeah, see, Jack's just cruising. He wants to be where he is. Look at Michael and Mick up ahead of us. Side by side into the north curve. That was risky. Yeah, you can hear Jack backing out of the throttle here big time. See my car bottoming out there. Woo, across a jump. And again, Jack's just cruising here. He's happy with where he is. We'll push it up in to see what happens here. Oh, and he hits Michelle. Oh, not sure what happened there. He probably just got sucked in by the draft. He was lucky not to really damage the car there. Again, that comes back to the fact that Michelle is in France. And I'll show you here. All right, Michelle is in France. Jack is in the US. And because of that, the two cars don't always line up on the server in a real world format. So in this instance, because the server didn't have time to recognize that there was contact between those two cars because there's so much digital lag between Michelle in France and Jack in California, he was able to get away with this. Normally that would have caused massive suspension damage. And you can see the front of Jack's car recognizes some damage. But because of the digital delay, it was probably just too much information for the processor to process all together with both of those hits, and he's able to get away with that. Michelle gets no damage, Jack gets no damage, or if any, very minimal. But that's digital. Sometimes you get away with things. I'm going to go back and look at this from my perspective, just because that got really contentious. I was kind of surprised when Jack pushed that up in there like that. Here we are in real time. Boom, he hits Michelle, rolls off. But he'll be back. So I'll roll through some more camera angles here. Right front suspension. Oh, look, there's Billy Bob. See how much the suspension works up and down. Changes the camber on the tire, or the wheel assembly, I should say. Looking back here. Again, the suspension working up and down. You can see the drive line there rotating. This is off the roll bar camera. Right front suspension. Right rear suspension. Oh, here comes Michelle. Looks like might have a run on me. We'll watch and see. Nope. So this is cockpit view. We'll watch a lap from cockpit view. This is parabolic as we're coming to the finish line. So we'll watch a lap from here. Michelle in my mirror on the right. Should be a pretty quick top end down here. Let's see, we're working lap number 13 of 20, so yeah, I probably won't try to draft all the way. I'll just try not to lose any time. We'll watch the speed. 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 216. We're just cruising right now. Coming up to the jump here. This is coming off the southern curve, the curve A sud. There's the jump. Ooh, gotta be perfect there. Big draft here. We'll take a look again. Up, Mick's gonna block me up. Let's see if Mike lets me in. Nope, Mike's gonna defend on the outside. Ooh, so close there. You see Jack just in my left mirror there, man. This is really close at 150 miles an hour at that point. Car jumping the curves, all the gravel coming onto the track again. A little oversteer there. oversteer there. You can really drive this car on the throttle. If you want some more rotation out of the car, you just push the gas pedal down. Either on exit or entry. You can do it both ways. Really do drive the car with the throttle as much as you do the steering wheel. So that was a very sedate lap. Again, we're just cruising at this point, waiting until we get closer to the end. We'll be working lap 14 of 20 coming up. I was trying out a late braking move there into Parabolica just to make sure I could control the car over the brakes when I was turning in. Okay, scrolling again. That's a scenic view of something, and this is TV1. So we'll go back and watch the stuff from TV cameras for a while. Three wide into north curve. Oh, no, sorry, south curve. Oh, boy. Mick backed out and let me in on that. Cross the jump. People are starting to think about the last few laps, so they're starting to play around, see who's got what where. Michael with a big push underneath me. Come in late, able to shut it down. You can see Jack backed out of that. He was afraid that we were going to get together. That lets Michelle and Uwe back up on him. Ooh, big counter steer for me. Spun the tires coming off the chicane. Ooh, let's back up to Jack, and those guys are really after here. In fact, Michelle got by him somewhere in there. Move back up to Michael and myself. You see I'm running a shallow entry there, just letting Mike know I really don't want him to pass me there. Mike gets a good run on me here. I slightly defend, but he's going to go for it, so let's see how this works out. Side by side, I push out badly. He pushes the car into position. Try to get a run on the outside. Here comes Michelle. We both slot in behind Mike. That was a good pre-last lap move there to see how everybody played that, because that's going to be the spot on the last lap. Mike figures out what he wanted and he just rolls back. So, in my opinion, that was Mike testing out how that last lap thing was going to work out. Mick trying to get away. Anybody need any HP photo creation deals? I'm assuming that's showing on the video capture screen as well. I had an HP notification come up. Across the jump, I got to run on Mick. Go down the inside. He gets back behind me, and again, he's thinking about what he's going to do on the last lap, because you want to be leading going into this corner. Curve Grande is the beginning of the infield section leading to Parabolica and the finish line. So in my mind, what I just learned is don't pass too early on the last lap, because they can draft back by you. So not only have you got to time the draft to get by them, but you've got to time it late enough that they can't repass you. Michelle gets a good run on me there. I'm in the best position here, but let's see if he outbrakes me. No, he lets me back in. Everybody dancing around now. Coming to the line, we'll be starting lap 16, so 6 laps to go. So let's see, 5 laps to go once we cross the finish line. Michelle with the run on me. I think I let him in here. Yep. Just so you understand my strategy for this race, I wanted to be third. Coming on when we start the last lap, right here, this is where I want to be on the last lap. And what I want to do on the last lap is I want to be right here as we go through the north curve. This is Curve Nord here. And then on the last lap, I want to draft past the person that's in second and move myself into second. So if this were the last lap, this would be my dream strategy right here. And then I would want to get back up on the back of... And again, what I learned on that previous lap is I don't want to be too close to this guy here. I want to give him a little time down this next straightaway, coming off of Curve South, across the jump. But see, again, I'm too early. If this were the last lap, I just made a mistake. Because see, Mick immediately gets back on my back. Now the difference is, on the last lap, I would have stayed to the far right and he would not have been able to go underneath me. I would have forced him to go around me, but he has proven to me all day that he can do that. So, I just learned what I needed to know in that. I'm not too worried about this right now. Everybody's playing their strategies. So I learned what I needed to learn, and now I know what I'm going to do. So we'll scroll back through the field some. Back to Jack here. Let's watch from Uwe's position. Uwe's just been cruising around in the back, waiting for people to crash, and waiting for the last few laps. He knows there's no reason to get up in this madness at the front. He's just happy to cruise along back here. Here comes Michelle making a move on me. We'll come up to that. No, he didn't. Mike making a move on Michelle, actually. Back to Uwe. Ooh, Mike making a big mistake. He almost spun the car. The Honda of Uwe. Again, these guys are running the liveries of the cars that were significant for them during the 1967 Formula One series. This is the 50th anniversary, hard to believe, listen to what I'm saying, 50th anniversary of the 1967 Formula One season. And Uwe goes by Mike. Let's go to the next camera view. Camera TV2. Again from Uwe. Working lap 17, so 4 laps to go. When we get to within 3 laps to go, it'll start getting really tense. Across the jump. Mick's starting to pop again really bad. In fact, I'm going to go look at that again because that was, I remember during the race now, that really, I think some crazy stuff happened on that run. So I'll look at it from my cockpit view. We'll move up to me, go into the cockpit and watch Mick. I think this is the one where his car was jumping up in the air and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, see, he goes into the Armco barrier, he disappears completely, comes back, he's gone, he's back on top of me. It was nuts. Is he there? Is he not? Where is he? Oh my gosh, that was just nuts. So we'll go back to TV1. I think we're at TV2 actually. Michelle going around the outside, but again I'm letting. So at this point now, I'm going to fight to stay in third. I see that was Mick going way off track there as he jumped back and forth. And again, he doesn't see that. Only we see that here in the U.S. He's popping really bad. He just threw a bunch of gravel up. The sounds you hear is from the car that I have featured. Right now I'm featured. And so you'll hear the sound from the perspective of my car. So again, right now, I'm trying to let it be known this is where I want to be and I'm going to defend it. At a parabolic, you can see why it's so important to get that corner right, because we're coming to the finish line here. So we'll start lap number 19 now. So 2 to go. 2 to go here. Now you see how far back Jack and Uwe are, but they're neither one of them worried about that at all. They know they'll be able to catch us no problem at all. Now, I passed Michelle there, but it's only because I want to be third. Wow, and Michael right up against the Armco there coming onto the jump. All of these are just to keep me in third spot when we come back to the beginning of the North Curve. Trying to get out ahead of here so that when I come back to the North Curve, I can go back to third. Okay, up into the first chicane as through the Curva Grande. I'm letting Michelle and them back in. I'm back to third where I want to be. But here comes Jack. Jack knows how to play this course really well. So I'm really a little concerned right now. I got to make sure he knows I'm going to defend. Ooh, big mistake from Mick there. You have to slow up behind him. Because again, my goal is third. I want to be third. Working lap 19. No, excuse me, working 18. So, I'm sorry, 2 to go this time coming to the start-finish line. Forgive me, that was 3 to go. When we started lap 18, because you've got to run the full lap. So going to finish 18, then we have 19 and 20 to go. So again, right now I am exactly where I want to be. But so does everybody else. In fact, I wonder if Mick was trying to let me by there. Because in my opinion, most of these people want to be in third at the beginning of the lap. From right here, starting lap 19, I think most people want to be third. I think Jack wants to be fourth. I think I remember Jack saying he wanted to be fourth. But in my estimation, because you can actually block the track from somebody drafting, that's why I want to be third, because I want to pass to second here into the south curve, and then I want to pass for the lead coming out of the south curve and then defend through the lead. All right, here we go. And again, my goal is to just make myself where I can get back to third spot when we get to the entry of the North Curve. That's the only reason I'm pushing this in here like this. Here comes Jack, man. He's making a big move. Ooh! Had to defend. I'm going to go back and look at that again. That was a big moment in the race just then. Because again, we're coming to the last lap. I want to watch this from TV 1. Ooh, man, look at Mick. Oh, man, that is nuts. But he hung on to it. comes Jack. He wants to get up there. I move over to defend. Mike comes in there as well, really deep. Ooh, that was scary. All right, I think I'll just stay on TV1 from here. Okay, I'm fighting everything I can do to stay in third. Because again, working at 19. When we come to the north curve, I want to be third. Mike and Jack side by side, man, they are fighting hard. I'm going to roll back to them to see that. Jack shoving it down there. Mike late on the brakes. Side by side, and Jack has to let him in. All right, back up to me. I'm exactly where I want to be right now. Mick planted a little koi out there, rolls in behind me. And then he goes in really deep, but you gotta remember, I want to be third, so I let him go. Unfortunately, that brings Michael up. I have contact with Mick, and that was my race over right there. See, when Mick faded down, I'm going to go all the way back because I don't know how that happened. I want to see why did he get to third coming out of the... Why did he get to third here? I'm going to watch it from... No, I'm sorry, wrong one, guys, forgive me. Watch it from this position. He lets Michelle go. And then he faded here. I was just going to let him go, but see, he faded behind me, and that screwed me because now he goes in deep because here comes Michael. And we'll go back to Michael's view here. Oops, sorry. And I want to watch from Michael's cockpit camera because it'll show what happens to me. All right, so Mick, I don't know why he did that. I'm going to go look. I'm going to go look at why Mick, if he was under duress or if he was just trying to put me into second place. All right, so we'll go up here to Mick and watch and listen to his engine. He lets Michelle in there. See, and I'm letting Mick in because I didn't understand why he did that. We'll go back to Mike's car now and see what happens to me. I mean, it doesn't sound like Mick was bleeding the throttle, but the way my car went by him, I have to believe Mick was bleeding the throttle here. So we'll go back to Mike's car. And we'll watch. You see the gap. See, this goes to show you how much Mick and I slowed down, because here comes Mike. He's right on us now. I can't figure out what Mick is doing. I'm fighting to get back to the inside. Boom, we touched. End of my race. Mike took full advantage of that, as he should, and that's the end of my race. So we'll show it again. So what I'm trying to do here is let Mick through, but also shut the door on Mike. And you can see what happens is I have to get back on the gas because Mike's going to push it into the hole. And as I do that, I clip Mick's car. And I let Mike in, and I'm pretty much screwed from there. Mike goes real aggressive on Mick. It slows those two down. And now we're all jammed up behind him. You can see we're actually off the throttle because we're jammed up behind Mike. Here comes Uga down the inside. I'm blocked. I can't get out there. So now I'm in fourth going into the south curve. And I know that if these guys go wide on the exit of the jump, that I'm not going to be able to get by anybody because they're going to block the track ahead of me. And they do. And so I'm basically just in cruise control at this point, hoping they crash each other out. Defending from Jack there. Up to the front. And Michelle makes an uncharacteristic mistake and goes off. Here it's a fight for first. I'm back into third. Neither of these guys make any errors coming up to this area, so I'm not able to close the gap. So I had to get out of it because of Michelle's crash. Mike going in deep, but Mick able to defend. One last chance for Mike here. Boy, he's seriously on the gas. You can see the car dancing around. Mick goes to defend. Comes back. I'm surprised Mick stays out here. I figured he would block. But Mike dancing around almost spins the car. I almost got back to him here. But he's able to recover. Brings the car home. It's a super race. But for that one incident with Mick, I think I could have been battling for the win in that one, but still a lot of fun. Probably arguably the best race I've seen in this car in a long time at this facility. So.
Oh my God. I just thought the broadcast race yesterday was the race of all time.
I was just going to say that, Billy Bob. That was just unbelievable.
Huh, I've lost my feed for some reason. I don't know why it's done that.
Just unbelievable.
Oh, that's because that's the end of the replay. Anyway, good run, guys. Lots of fun. Hope you enjoyed it. That's iRacing. That's the letter I. Racing.com is the simulator. Check it out. Dozens of different cars, historic cars like the 67 Lotus 49. Up to the McLaren MP from, I think, 2 seasons ago, and for the current Formula One cars. They've got oval track dirt cars, sprint cars, outlaw wing dirt cars. Check it out, iRacing. And if you're on iRacing, check us out, Grand Prix Legends. Good fun.